Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Planet New Jersey. Believe it or not, this is episode numero tres, and we thank you for being aboard the spaceship with us today. In the southern half of the planet, it is a long-awaited 75 degrees, and we hope these temperatures are finally here to stay. We want to start off with a big shout out and thank you to our official sponsor, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance, also known as NJM, for all your auto, home, and workmen's compensation needs. Your host for today is moi, Randy Stephens, and I know it'll be over soon. Don't even worry about it. As usual, and alongside me is the artsy Casey Skarecki and the guru of calm, Vinnie Civitillo. Say hi to the people, good folks.
Hey,
Hi,
hey.
y'all.
And of course, our special guest for the day, the lady herself, one of New Jersey's leading women in business, and NJBIA's VP of Government Affairs, Althea Ford. Thank you for being with us. Say hi to the people, Althea.
Hello, people.
I like her energy already. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, you're missing out, let me tell you.
And with our intros complete, remember, you can take a Starship trip to the planet New Jersey whenever your favorite podcasts are found on Apple or Android, and of course on YouTube. Casey, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Randy. And yeah, welcome everybody. Okie dokie artichoke. So, Althea, we start with an icebreaker, which is like an article. And usually it's an article, something happening in New Jersey. However, this one is very close to my heart. And I feel like a lot of people's heart, and it is Britney Spears' conservatorship is finally over. So she's had her conservatorship. As we all know, it came out a couple of years ago with her father, but after 2 days ago, it's officially over. So I feel like maybe we have some opinions about our Britney Spears, who I'm assuming we all love so well.
Althea, do you have any strong opinions on Britney Spears?
Maybe not strong opinions, but I mean, as someone that I guess could kind of chronicle my like adolescence, young adulthood, and then kind of into adulthood, it's been very interesting to watch her rise, fall, being the stardom being taken advantage of, the impact on the younger sibling that was also in entertainment. So very
Jamie.
interesting, like case study on
Wow.
kind of the rise and fall of a child star. And that adjustment is just, I think in general, there are not many people that do that transition well from child star to adult, whether it's star or just, solid or adjusted, well-adjusted adulthood. But glad to hear that the conservatorship is finally over. I was always concerned about people taking advantage of her for her money, because that's always a common thing with child stars. So hopefully she's got good people behind her now.
Yeah. So, I mean, her conservatorship started in 2008. And it was like a 13-year arrangement, which is crazy long time, right? And so I was kind of just Googling it through. So Jackie Coogan, do you know who Jackie Coogan is?
I don't.
Jackie Coogan was in the Charlie Chaplin movie. Is how old it is, right? So he was in a Charlie Chaplin movie. I think the player or the prince, anyways, a Charlie Chaplin movie, and he was a huge hit. And he was like the first child star, and he made loads of money. This is in the 20s, loads and loads of money. And it was his parents kept it, his mother and his stepfather specifically. And when he was 21, he would have access to it. So we're talking early 20s. He had a couple $1 million, $4 million. And when he went back, the money was gone. It's all gone. They had
You got to
taken
think
it
about
all.
how much money that was adjusted for inflation.
Right.
Yeah. Insane amount of money. And I don't even know how they could have spent it in 1920. You're not buying like jets or cars really even. So I don't even know how they spent it. But since then, there was the Jackie Coogan law.
Oh, you give me any amount of money, I'll figure out how to spend it.
They did. And they left him flat broke. Oh, Jackie Coogan, you might know, when he got older, he played Uncle Fester in the Addams Family TV show.
Oh,
So that's who he was broke. He was 50 when he got that role. So he was able to make some more money. But since then, like Macaulay Culkin and all those child stars that ended up like divorcing themselves from their parents.
Right.
Yeah.
There was something that parents can only take a certain percentage of their money, and they have to keep a savings. It has
There's
to
like
always
a 15. I don't remember what the name of the law is, but it's 15% or something like.
Yeah, that's like the
which is
law.
amazingly small, but yeah.
I think it is wild to think though, Casey, like how you could spend, such amounts of money back then because you could buy a home for like what we pay for mortgage and rent nowadays. So it's like,
Oh yeah, like what? How could you even spend $4 million then?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
But yeah, Brittany, it's wild stuff. I mean, I read somewhere that she says she's done with the music industry, like she doesn't want to ever perform again, and that's good for her, you know. I hope she has the money to just ride out the rest, you know.
Right.
Since she was little, right? I don't even know how little she was, but I think she was on
the Mickey Mouse Club.
Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like Althea said, there aren't that many child stars that make that transition well. And when they do, they usually have some problems kind of in those teenage years. Like I'm thinking about like Drew Barrymore, who went through a lot, you know, in the teen years, and is totally well adjusted now. At least to the outward. I don't know. Maybe internally, like Drew Barrymore's a monster, and we'll find out about that later. But Jodie Foster, she made the transition.
Oh right, because she was a child. I forgot that she was a child actor. That's right.
Yeah.
The only one that rings a bell that I think did it successfully is Usher, like Usher Raymond. Like I feel like there was even a point where he kind of like stepped up and. In his adulthood, he just got into adult stuff. So it was like, okay, this is typical grown-up drama, but not like a function of being a non-adjusted adult. It's just now you're just getting into adult grown-up issues and trouble, right?
Like Christian Bale, Batman.
Usher is amazingly talented. Usher just did the
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Oh my God, so good looking.
Yeah, I don't think I got to watch it much because I had to try to watch the television through my daughter and my wife Chantel dancing in front of the screen. But I heard it was pretty good.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like there was an Usher concert and then like football was being played at some point.
Exactly. That's how I saw it.
Wow.
Ryan Gosling also was a child actor. Ryan Gosling seems to be okay, but he's great in Barbie.
What was he as a kid? I can't remember him as a child actor.
He was like, and I only know this because, I went down the Ryan Gosling rabbit hole, that he was, I don't know if he was part of the Mickey Mouse Club, but he was definitely in stuff with Britney Spears when they were little.
Wow, that Mickey Mouse Club was just like this,
turning out stars. Oh, yeah.
It was the incubator.
Oh, exactly. All right. So our Britney Spears, I mean, she, do very well in her adult years because she's still really young. And
be well, Britt.
Yeah, go for it. You go, Britt. Exactly.
Well.
Britney Power. So, all right. So with that, Randy, you want to start us off with some questions for our Althea?
Let's do it. Let's get to know, I call her Lady Four. Let's get to know Althea just a little bit. Get to know her a little bit. So I have a couple questions for you. Jersey-based, going to touch on parenthood, if you don't mind. And then just some of your personal kind of favorite things to do. So number one, being that we're talking about New Jersey, Planet New Jersey, are you a beach gal? And if so, where's your favorite beach town, beach to visit? Either, you and a hubby or with the family.
Yeah, so beaches, I was introduced to beaches later on in life in Jersey. I'm from Union County, Plainfield specifically. And I am from a West Indian household. So I was probably introduced to beaches outside of the country before I was introduced to Jersey's beaches. My mom did not particularly like to drive. So until I could get the car keys, really Jersey was just kind of my surrounding area, like Plainfield and basically whatever I could take the 819 bus to was my universe, right? But now in later in my later years, I can't say that there's one beach in particular. I know when I was in college, my cousins liked the nude beach, Gunner's Beach or something like that. That was interesting to be exposed to, but I was grown, I was in college. But I have never gone back. I don't know if that was a function of the surroundings, but it was just, you just had to be there. And then it was like, this is a great experience. Thank you so much. But like Sandy Hook Beach, that's a name that always rings out. And I feel like whenever like my family or anyone's looking for a beach to go to, that's usually a name. I have some other family members that are much more entrenched in the beach scene in Jersey. So I defer to them and I just get in the back seat and hope I don't have to pull or gas or anything and just get a
It's
free
it's
ride.
always good when you don't have to drive. So two things, right? I'm a Jersey guy, so like, and I love Jersey Beach probably my whole life. But when you compare them to maybe some beaches in the Caribbean, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a tough debate. So I don't know if I can really argue that one, guys. I don't know. And I found out
Well,
too
what
that
is
like
way clearer in Jersey?
Yeah, I'm pleading the fifth on that one.
and I think like my beaches of choice have changed like with adulthood, I guess. When you're young, you like to go where all the rowdy crowds are. But then when you get little ones and it's like let's real quaint, real quiet, grab a couple funnel cakes and just kick it on the shore in peace. So I like the answer. We'll take it. Number two. So we were talking before the show started that I ran into Vin at a Disney on Ice experience a couple weeks ago. So
Yeah, wait, time out. I want to explain this running into. We were at the office and he goes, "Hey, were you at Disney on Ice on Friday?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, I was there. I saw you. And I'm like, yeah. I was wearing this bright orange jacket. I was like, I could see how he could be on the other side of the rink and maybe see me from way across and, like, tell me later. He's like, oh, no. I was like 3 rows behind you. And I'm like, and he didn't say hi until now.
So let me set this scene. Disney on Ice. Think of the crowd. Think of the ages, right? I'm in the middle row. Then I see Ben walking down the stair. There's no way that even if I would have yelled or screamed that he would have heard me. So I'm like, well, I'll just catch him at the next staff meeting.
I have very good hearing, Randy.
Back to the important point of the question, though. So at the show out there, right? It comes a part where some of the songs that I've heard in my house over and over again are playing. And I felt ashamed to like, I know these songs. And then I looked up and I saw like a couple dads just like leaning back, belting out all the words. So I'm like, hey,
he's like watching me like, let it go.
So my question to you is, do you have a favorite Disney or cartoon movie that you've heard over and over again being a mom that you can like recite flawlessly or got some favorite songs from? What would that be?
Yes. So let me qualify this. I do have some favorites. However, it's not as a function of being a mom. I brought these favorites from when I was a kid. Okay. These are my favorites from being a kid. So on the top of the list is The Prince of Egypt. I watched that movie probably every day after school for like 4 months. For like 4 months straight. Just every day. And I can do that. I know some people, my husband, he does not like watching the same thing too many times. Like I can watch the same thing multiple times because it's like there's so many different vantage points and so many things I didn't see before that I see now. And
I'm the same way. I'm totally the same way.
Prince of Egypt is my all-time favorite number one. Mulan is a very close second.
Mulan.
The Lion King.
Oh,
obviously,
yeah, of course.
Right?
Like,
obviously.
Never
like you just know. It's like you don't even have to explain. As soon as you hear that you're like, oh wait, something happening, right? So so those are like my top 3. Now with the kids, I have to entertain some of their, preferences, I guess, right? As opposed to like trying to force them to watch the ones that I want to watch. Although I will say my older son, he does have an appreciation for The Prince of Egypt. Because it's like, it has the religious, aspect of it. And then the songs are just really good, really good. And then let's see. So are there ones that I've been exposed to now? Well, cartoons, now we're into Black Panther. Big deal in the house. We got all the Black Panther.
Wait, there's a cartoon for Black Panther right now?
Well,
I know he's on Spidey and His Amazing Friends.
Yes,
I'm going to reveal,
right. So when we watched, the movie, like the live action movie, whatever, my smaller son was watching Spidey and the Amazing Friends, and so then he made the connection. So we watched that a lot, and he's always like Black Panther, Black Panther, Black Panther. Yeah.
So nice.
That is those
very
are
cool. We've had Wish on repeat in our house for I don't even know how long now. Whenever it showed up on Disney Plus, it's just been Wish every day, and it drives me nuts.
My son just put that on, so I have not watched it from beginning to end yet, but that is a new one in the house.
Yeah, it's not even super good. Go ahead, Randy. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good, dude. I'm just gonna say, and maybe I should keep it to myself, but I cannot confirm or deny, but I may or may not have the Lion King song on my backyard playlist when the family's outside playing.
I mean, you just confirmed it.
It's good. I've seen The
good.
Lion King. I've seen it on Broadway 3 times.
Oh, I wish I saw it on Broadway.
With the kids, without the kids. It's like, yeah, it's good. So I'm glad that's also one that I was able to introduce to them, and they have now have their own interest in it. It's like, yes, this is great.
Do you like that remake?
There's a version of that coming out too, though, right? I think I just read something that there's a new live action version of that coming out.
Yeah, I mean, look. Speaking also as a Law and Order fan, the original is the best. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's great to try to reimagine some of these things for newer audiences, but some things should just be left alone.
I like it. What'd you have to say, Vin? Go ahead.
Did I say anything? No, I think I was just asking her if she saw the remake. I think we were on the same wavelength. You were talking about the live action thing. I don't know if it's a live action because there's no people in the movie, but they were trying to make it photorealistic with the graphics and everything. And I don't know, there was just something really fun about, The Lion King. And I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it was perfect to me when I was growing up.
Well, you have great voice actors too, though. I mean, the voice actors and the chemistry of everybody in the original Lion King cartoon is so good that I feel like you didn't get that in the live action. It wasn't the same kind of.
And when you were watching the live action, it was as if you were wanting to hear the cartoon.
Exactly.
Right? So you just wanted. So even this song, when it's ready for a break of song, you're ready to sing the song that was in the
and you're so disappointed.
Like, oh wait,
I hit you with the remix. I've got one more get to know you, and then we'll pass and let them challenge you a little bit more. So we're entering the season of summer. So just share with us your favorite summer activity, either yourself, with the hugs, or with the family.
Yeah. So, I mean, going into this summer, I'm hoping to take a break, which does not, I don't think it's really going to happen, but I'm, wishful thinking, right? So I ideally would like to find myself on someone's beach. But I already know it's wedding season, and I have a couple younger cousins who are getting married. So my resources are going to supporting them in their new journeys. And I'm like, can I keep this money for myself and go travel for myself? But, I get it. So there's at least 3 wedding commitments already within 6 weeks. So looks like I will be trying to vacation while at someone else's wedding.
Not bad at all. So go ahead, guys. Begin to dig in a little bit. Challenge her a little bit more.
Casey, you're up.
You want me? Am I up?
Yeah.
So I just want to jump on the wedding train for a minute, Althea, because I have just tons of cousins. I have 5, 6, 7, 8 cousins between the ages of 32 and 23. And they're all getting married. And the last summer was weddings, and so this summer is their younger siblings' weddings. So it's and a lot of destination weddings are becoming a thing.
Yeah,
which is one thing. That's mandatory vacation, which is exciting. But yes, I totally am right there too.
There's nothing exciting about a destination wedding. Don't even try to play that up.
I mean, it's great in theory, I think, for the betrothed, right? Mm-hmm. That they can go but it's also a really good weed out tool, right? So it's if you have to cast the net wide, because for appearances I have to invite these people, your mom's family and cousins, and it's really, I don't even know these people, but it's no, you gotta invite them. So it's that's a great way to kind of weed them out. It's we're going to Timbuktu to get married, and they're like, oh, that's so great, I guess we can't come. But then there'll be those surprise ones where it's oh, we bought our tickets already. It's wait, I was hoping you weren't gonna come.
They're going to politely
I just worry about the inverse, the people that you really care about that are I just can't swing that kind of money to go out to Timbuktu.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. So I like the idea of you get married and then you come back home and you do the receptions, right? Mm-hmm. So it's that's where it's the money. Big party, and have the big party in the yard or whatever. But it's always a challenge. And then also it depends on who's paying for this too.
There it is.
So people feel if they're putting some money on it, they have some say. So it's all right, well, you can dictate everything about my wedding if you're paying for it.
That's right.
I will just show up gladly.
But then you have a little girl too, right? So that's gonna hit you and I at some point, probably.
I don't know.
Talk to
I'll put some
yourself.
quarters
I got
aside.
two boys. Two boys. I am showing up. I'm like, I have these dapper, handsome young men for you. That's to extend your family lineage. Look at them. They are fabulous.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Wow, it's a new world. I mean, people at my wedding that I had to invite, I remember because they were cousins of whomever I never saw again. And I couldn't even remember. We were looking not too long ago. We had moved a bunch of stuff and we found a wedding book. So I've been married 24 years. So 24 years ago we found, right? It's forever. But if you're looking at these people, I'm like, who is this entire table of people? Like, I don't know one person at this table.
That's
what you
crazy.
did. You grouped together the miscellaneous people.
Which we've all got grouped at that table, right?
100%. Where are they going to sit? Put them over there.
That's good. Now that is good. I was able to avoid that. I did not avoid the like bad talking of my family, but I avoided the big wedding altogether because my husband and I married young, and I was like, we can't afford it. And I had student loans. And so I had a set of money that I was like, I want to use this for a down payment on a house. That's what I said. Because my dad had passed away and he left me money, and he was like, what is it that you like, what do you need to like accomplish? Like, as he's like, kind of like final words, departing words. And we were talking about stuff. And I was like, well, I want to be prepared, like, for a home. And so when, everything's settled, and then we read the will, and I got this set of money for a lump sum of money that I said, okay, I'm going to use it for my down payment on a house. So like 6 years later now, my husband, our fiance, boyfriend at the time, we're talking about getting married. And it's like, okay, well, where do we get the money for this? Now, I have a huge family. Like there, I got like 100 people, like just my mother's siblings, the children and my mother's siblings would have been like 100 people. So, and that's not even talking about how
boomers.
Talking about how like my mom, like her cousins, and then their line, and then grandma's siblings and their line. Yeah, it was getting ridiculous. So we were like, clearly we can't afford the wedding we want anyway. So the plan was we were just going to go to the justice of the peace. But then my pastor talked to us, and he was like, well, look, we don't have to do the huge wedding. Like you can just be in the church edifice. We can do it at the altar, whatever. And you can have a handful of people here. Nothing says that just because you want to have it small and intimate doesn't mean you can't still be in this building, right? So I was like, okay, fine. So we did it. We had 18 people, 9 on my side, 9 on my husband's side. And it was like my mom, my grandmother, his godmother, like very close people. Granted, we had somebody that tried to crash the wedding. Even at that small, it was a Tuesday afternoon.
Somebody you knew, or somebody that was just random?
So my mama set it up so that she told her cousin, her like favorite cousin, and the favorite cousin now shows up like she's trying to be there. And I was like, you can't, because I agreed with my husband, like, this was going to be the list and blah, 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 blah. So waterworks on. She had to leave, and she was super like upset. My mom was annoyed. And I was like, y'all didn't follow the rules. Like, here we are starting the relationship, this wedding off on the wrong foot. I told the man, we made an agreement. Now you got me possibly breaking the agreement. Y'all setting me up for failure. So that was it. Then we left and did like almost like mafia style reception. Like, so the long table at the Spanish Tavern.
Envelopes out the jacket pocket.
Yeah, it was great. It was so intimate. It was nice. But then everybody in the back was like, oh, you got married? You didn't invite me? You didn't come? And so fast forward 2012 and 2020. Yes, 8 years later, right? Fast forward.
It's okay when they do it. If one of us was to be like, I forgot.
That's right.
Then it would come down.
We're remembering enough. We can only remember so much.
I'm horrible with math. So 8 years later, my husband and I are looking for a house. And so I have this pot of money because we didn't use it. We didn't do the big wedding. It's been, maturing. It's been doing its thing. And so now I have the money to buy this house. I wanted so bad to send like cards to everyone I would have invited to say, thank you so much, with like a picture of the house. And it's like, for all the grief you gave me over not having this big wedding and not doing, the thing that was expected. I'm the eldest daughter. So like my mom was annoyed because I guess this would have been her opportunity to, show off and prance in
Her
front of
opportunity,
her
keyword.
cousins and stuff.
Exactly.
Like this was the goal. The goal was so that I could advance the relationship, right? Like we could, it wasn't just for the day. It's for like the entire life together. And so, yeah, that's my story.
She could have shown you off at the housewarming party.
I'm saying, right? Like we could have pivoted, But
that is phenomenal advice, right? Because so many people get hung up on the day, and the day is really just a couple hours of this future that is for forever. Like that is one day, and people put so much effort into that instead of, and you're never really ready for everything that's going to come. But still, I have several of my cousins that have had something very simple, and then a couple that have just got absolutely bananas.
Right.
And it's just been a whole like year of getting ready for it. And it is a blur if you have like a biggest one.
And then of course the super sucky part is you spend all this money on this wedding, you're not focusing on relationship, and then you are still paying off a wedding when you're trying to get divorced, right? Like that part where like the actual thing that you're supposed to be investing in isn't happening or didn't happen. And so then it's really like, what did we do this for?
Smart.
Right. So lessons in marriage. This is another, we should have a whole podcast on this.
All included here in Planet Jersey.
Right. So speaking of which, let's transition right into the professional. And Althea, before you came here, you were working with the New Jersey State Funeral Directors Association.
There was a 4 weddings and a funeral joke to be made here.
Yeah, that was like a perfect transition.
The New Jersey Funeral Directors Association, keeping the fun in funeral,
Sure.
Like it's it was an interesting job. Actually kind of full circle for me. So when I was in high school, I had to do a career paper, or just like a paper exploring different career options. And I actually wrote about becoming a funeral director.
Wow.
And my grandmother was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, it's like lucrative business, right? Everybody's got to die. So it's about like creating a, like a personal experience, right? Because it's a sensitive time for families and for individuals. And so really that like the funeral homes that kind of rise to the top are the ones that have that empathy and care. And, they take care of you, not just seeing you at the time of death, but, the follow-up afterwards and like staying close to the family. Funeral directors make super cool politicians, right? Because they know everybody, because they oftentimes end up interfacing with everyone in the community, So, but it was a really good learning experience, but definitely full circle.
Oh, that's really interesting. Well, so keeping the fun in funeral, when I used to do travel, I would do escorted tours. And when we would get funeral associations together, they were the most raucous. Like they were having the absolute best time. We would rent a charter. They would be just living it up. From all the groups I worked with, and I worked with loads of groups all around the country, they were always having the most fun and whooping it up the most. I thought that seemed so interesting.
There are people too, right? Like you think about all the different, industries and different job occupations that people have. And sometimes you just think that people are their job. And it's like, no, I'm a person that also happens to have this job. And so it's like when the time calls for you to be, serious and, attentive and all of that, and you can, but then I leave work at work and, have to live my life. And I'd imagine too, especially during COVID, because I worked there through COVID, even that experience was very eye-opening, because there was also this, maybe a sentiment, not necessarily, I don't think it was intentional, but maybe people thought that, oh, well, funeral directors, like, you're used to this. And it's like, well, no, this is unprecedented, even for those that work in and near, death and, that space. So it was also important for us to remember that the people that do this end of life work are people too, right? And even though they may deal with this and work in this field, they still need to be tended to, because this is an unprecedented situation, even for them. So,
well, it's amazing that you could have that the opportunity to look through that lens, right? Like so many of us go through life with blinders on of doing just what we do and not seeing anybody outside that. And you can you have this whole look into a world that few of us do. And that's kind of interesting. So you gotta tell me, how did you get from there to NJBIA? What brought you?
Yeah, so the Funeral Directors Association, they are members of BIA. So I've been introduced and connected to many of the government affairs staff, just from our crossover, especially in like consumer affairs, right? So funeral directors are licensed individuals, and so a lot of the issues that the state was overall having with respect to processing licenses in a timely manner, it affected the entire regulated professions, all of the regulated professions, funeral directors included. So I was very familiar with BIA in that space. And so, I mean, there was an opportunity that opened up I guess a little over a year now, for someone to come inside to BIA and kind of work on some policy issues. And I figured, it was time to kind of go out on my own terms. I'd been with the funeral directors for 10 years, which is I'm probably like a dinosaur in terms of people, the last of a generation, I think, that would stay at one place for that long. So I was just like, looking for more professional opportunities and growth. And I think the funeral directors were very, open and responsive to the fact that, it was time for me to almost like spread my wings, because I grew up there. Basically, I started there when I just gotten married at 26, had my children there. So it was like just a very interesting place to say, all right, now go on and spread your wings and, take on some new endeavors. And BIA was the lucky recipient of all of this positive energy and, excitement. So that's how I ended up here.
See, I had been taking all the credit for it, because right prior to Althea coming to BIA,
that's right,
I had done some behind the scenes work with the funeral directors. I got to film Althea doing between the 2 years, it was probably something like 16 hours worth of webinars or something.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I was like, I made it such an inviting, fun, time. She was just like, forget this funeral director's place. I want to come to BIA.
You were the glue. I can't say that experience with you was not a value add.
There we go.
My decision.
Yeah, at least it was a factor. That's all I want to hear.
Did you get a finder's fee then? Did you get a finder's fee for Althea?
I should check in with Michelle and see if. Yeah. No, I learned a lot that day.
Yes.
You were talking about how everybody's got that serious moment where they got to come out and there's a certain outward projection, like the casual, the everyday person thinks of a funeral director as being a certain kind of profession. Those days I learned just how, I think what stuck out in my mind, two things: how dangerous of a profession it was. Like if I was a professional spelunker, I probably wouldn't be in as near mortal danger as I would be as a funeral director, just with all the chemicals and all of that. And then the other thing was how overly regulated the field is. I mean, just everything down to if you make pens to hand out, the pens have to have specific, you can't just put whatever you want on a pen that you're handing out to people who come to your funeral home. It was insane. I learned a lot. Now, Althea was a great teacher.
And I did my job. Look at that. I was doing that webinar for funeral directors, but the fact that a non-funeral director could take away these key takeaways, I did my job. So thank you.
I mean, speaking of which, I get to ask you the questions about BIA. So you're here. Tell us a little about BIA's advocacy efforts.
Sure. So can I kind of bring it down to what my issue area?
Yeah, I mean, you can. This is your episode. You can do anything you want. Believe me.
We do a lot. We do a lot, and I would not be able to give the issue areas that I don't.
Oh no. We don't want that 2-foot level. We want the
Absolutely.
So I cover. I'd like to say I cover the continuum of the human experience, like my issue areas. So we start with childcare. Right.
Oh.
I also cover K through 12 and higher education, workforce development, healthcare, and consumer affairs. So I am all the forward-facing.
Sheesh, Althea, stop slacking off.
Look, I picked these short straws. When I got
right, you got them all.
Yeah. So those are all the issues I cover. And it has been, I mean, I think that this first year has just kind of been a whirlwind of taking it all in and kind of learning what are the issues in those specific spaces. With BIA, which is a different experience from my experience at the funeral directors, was, funeral directors is, I know Michelle likes to say, it's the vertical, right? So it was one industry and knowing all the ins and outs of one specific industry. So I became like a subject matter expert in funeral directing. But now with BIA, I have to know a little bit about a lot, right?
Mm.
So enough to have, significant conversation and substantive conversations with individuals. But then I also need to stay connected to those subject matter verticals so that I can kind of communicate and tap them when it's time to talk about, the weeds. It's like, okay, let me tag. Someone else is doing that, but I still have a working knowledge of it. So that's been somewhat of an adjustment because I think just my mind tends to go, and I guess the 10 years of that memorization and just the in and out of being that subject matter expert, trying not to be the subject matter expert for all, because then there are not enough hours in the day, but really trying to be strategic about how I can learn a little bit about all of them, and still be able to represent the members as well as they should be represented.
Was that
Nice.
a rough transition?
Yeah, because I think for me, it was, I'm like, I want to be the expert. And it's like, well, no, that's not quite my role here. So just trying to break out of, like I said, like that 10-year habit of being the expert. But we have really great, like BIA has really great members. So in terms of like reaching out to someone and saying like, look, let me be vulnerable and say, I don't know about this issue. Can you enlighten me? Like, how can I advocate for you in this area? And our members being very responsive to that and not thinking that, oh, well, you have to know. It's like, well, we're glad that we are members so that we can educate you because you're the one in the room. So then we need to make sure that, as the mouthpiece, you are able to communicate our issues effectively. So I think that has been perhaps the most beneficial experience, where it's kind of tapping into the members and letting them know that their experience and their subject matter expertise is extremely important to me, at least, because I want to convey that information to, all of the movers and shakers and policymakers that I'm around in every day.
What would you say your favorite part of the job is?
Favorite part of the job, I would say the fundraisers. So, but it's like twofold, right? Because I'm an extroverted introvert.
Okay.
So I have to like rev myself up and almost like a pregame before I get to the fundraiser, because it's like I have to turn on. But when I turn on, I'm effective, I'm good. But it's just having to get my mind prepared and ready. And then afterwards, it's like, whew, oh goodness, okay, I'm going to drive in silence because I have to recharge for the next morning, fundraiser. But I think the fundraisers and like just the events that we host where there are opportunities for networking are really great, because like there are people in industries and job descriptions and titles I would have never known, I never knew about. So now, kind of in my big grown age, like still learning more about like what is there to be, and especially because I have children and they're talking about and thinking about what they want to be when they grow up. It's like, oh, well, now I have so many more job titles and industries to share with them and educate them on than I did, because, when I was kind of coming up, I didn't know any people that worked in government affairs. I didn't know lobbyists. I just knew doctor, lawyer, teacher, and like public service, like, law enforcement, firefighter, that sort of thing. So the fundraisers and all of those like outward facing events that BIA hosts or that we attend kind of helps me to be a more informed parent when I'm talking to my sons about, thinking about, the future and what that looks like, or even exposing them, like bringing them to, take your child to work day. And it's like last year, my son, I dragged him to an event with the state treasurer.
Yeah.
And he's just like, so I was like, what do you think about like work? Like, this is work. He's like, I think I'm going to stay in school. And I was like, well, that is the right mindset. I mean, this is a multifaceted approach to letting you know, don't rush to be an adult. Like an adult, like it's it's kind of ghetto. Like, it's not always cracked up to me. So, however I can educate you to stay in school and, enjoy being a kid, I'll take it.
Sure. I guess we think about this stuff a lot because we work at BIA. A lot, our audience in general is probably new to BIA. Let's just say somebody's a member or maybe even not, but they want to get involved. They maybe want to have, quote, their voice heard. How can people get more involved with BIA's advocacy efforts?
Sure. So I think one of the best ways is like just emailing us, right? Like, so like using, at least my experience has been that when you email NJBIA, you're going to get a response, right? And it's because we are a team, it's any one person you communicate will get the information, get you connected to the person you need to be connected to, right? So it's like if this new member only knows Randy because of that initial outreach and member, relation building, and now it's time for, well, how do I get connected to advocacy? Randy will do that handoff and say, hey, Althea, we have a new member, like, let's try to set up something. And so there's no wrong way to get like connected to someone in BIA. It's just a matter of doing the outreach. And I think also on the flip side, BIA does a really good job of trying to be in your inbox. So it's like, if like you're not going to miss us if you don't want to miss us.
We're
right?
sliding
like
in the DMs.
Right. Yes, we are. We are in your LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. We are sending you out emails, whether it's about events and webinars and, just the NJBT and just letting you know what's happening. So it's, if you're not connected, you really have to kind of evaluate whether you're tapping it, because like I think BIA
question your life choices, really.
But I think BIA really does a good job of like sharing and communicating. So it's just a matter of like replying to the email, right? Like, and just saying, hey, I saw this email, I saw this article, like, can I get some more information about it? And if we don't know, I will tell you, as one of the newbies, like I will tell you, if I don't know, I will be honest and tell you I don't know, but I will find it. I will get you connected to the answer. So I think that's, one of the ways that you can get connected is just reply to the email, reply to the Facebook post, or post under it, LinkedIn or whatever. I think another way is through our policy committee meeting the policy committee meetings. And those are opportunities where you can connect based on like your own, whether it's business or personal interest. So I lead the Education and Workforce Development Policy Committee, as well as the Health Affairs Policy Committee. And so my understanding, at least, is that as a member, when you're initially setting up your profile and everything, you can choose which of those committees you're interested in, what issue areas you're interested in, and you get funneled into these committees. So participate, like they're virtual, right? So you don't have to travel anywhere. And there's always an opportunity to connect with a policymaker, decision maker, and also learn about other members. Because I think that is also the beauty of BIA as well, is that while we do the advocacy work and GA is very intentional about how we do that, this is also an opportunity for you to build, for an individual to build their like clientele and build their like ecosystem of other vendors and, other companies that they can work with in order to, achieve their goals, right? So you think about everything from your landscaper to your dry cleaner to, think a host of industries and a host of businesses, small, medium, large. So take advantage of those opportunities too, that like we can do the introductions even between members, right? To say, oh, you saw that we have a member that is in this space and you're trying to get into that space. Okay, well, let's do that warm introduction to connect you, and hopefully it, will yield some positive results.
Cool.
Awesome.
If you're interested, I think it's njbia.org/advocacy. Randy, Althea mentioned an email. What would be the best email address for people to hit, if they want to try to write in?
Casey, help me out with this. Is it memberservices@njbia.org? I think that's kind of a general inbox.
Yep, that's it. Yep, member services.
Shout out to me for member services at NJBIA.
All one word, right?
Yes, sir. And we'll get it to the appropriate party for sure. We're the connected. We got your back.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Good job, Randy.
Awesome. Are you guys done digging in? Is it back to me?
It is back to you.
Hey, so I got to say this. I like the fact that Althea, that you described yourself as an extrovert, introvert. I was able to see Althea, I think in the fall or winter, sometime around the holidays, I watched Althea work a room kind of at one of our events. And to hear her after the fact of me like celebrating her and recognize her saying that she has to like pump herself up for it, like you seem so so natural in there. I would have never guessed it. So I think that's pretty cool to see. And then I like the fact that she mentioned that we do a great job of connecting people because one of my early events that I attended as a part of BIA's team was, I think it was a manufacturing day or something of the sort. And I remember someone coming over to our table as a part of member services, and they needed assistance with something that we didn't do. But instead of us saying, "I'm sorry, we couldn't help you," going about your business, we kind of walked them over, made the introduction to the other agency in the state that's able to help them do what they do, and we had that relationship, so we were able to make that connection. So, to Althea's point, reach out to us, and we'll definitely help you get you connected. Hopefully, we can do it in house. But even if we can't, we're not selfish with our network because you'll remember, the organization that helped you. So, great questions, guys, and thank you for that. So, before we let everybody go, the Jersey jaw dropper kind of quiz show. Some New Jersey-based trivia questions. We have 3. So we're going to ask our contestants to get their Sharpies and their paper together. And we've got 3 questions we're going to ask and see who our winner is. There is, as Casey would say, fabulous prizes associated with the winner of this contest. This week, this week, it will be a gift card to the world famous Wawa that we're going to be sending over for you to get lunch on us on Planet New Jersey. So if you guys are ready, give me a head nod or thumbs up, and we'll go ahead and kick this off with our 3 questions.
Important to note that we don't actually get any money from Wawa for this. This is just what we've decided on as our prizes. We're that invested.
So we'll say a lunch gift card, so we're not putting specific on where it comes from.
Yeah. Exactly. Lunch gift card from Wolfie. Awesome. From Surprise.
All right. So give me these rules again. I need a piece of paper saying what and what now.
No, so it's just a blank piece of paper, Sharpie marker. Randy's going to ask a question. You write down your answer. He'll give us enough time to respond, and then maybe we hold it up and just say, like, this is what I got, and then it's on to the next question.
That's right. No cheating.
So there's only 3, and these are going to be Jersey-based today. So Jersey-based question, and there's 3 trivia questions. Number 1. New Jersey has the most of this type of restaurant than any other state or any other place in the world, according to the internet today. And it is A, diners, B, takeout, C, fast food, which is probably the same thing, and 4, fine dining. So New Jersey has the most of this type of restaurant in the world. A, diners, B, takeout, C, fast food, or D, fine dining. Which one of the 4 choices do you think it is?
I'm locked in. Oh, she put it up. All right, so I guess it feels like this is the trap answer. Like you put this thing, but I couldn't go with anything else.
Yeah, pizza before I use multiple choice.
I thought about pizza. I'm so glad they gave us options because I was originally going to write pizza.
3 for 3, you guys.
That's right. Me and Althea,
New Jersey is known as the diner capital of the world.
Oh, we got this right? Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Nice. 3 for 3. I see you guys.
Actually, I just noticed we were at a Somerset Patriots game not that long ago, and apparently once a year or so they change their name to the New Jersey Diners just to honor that. Yeah, I don't know. We bought a hat and everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Number 2. The street names in the Monopoly board game are named after actual streets in what shore town? The street names in the Monopoly board game are named after actual streets in what New Jersey shore town?
All right, I'm locked in.
Ready?
Let's go.
Oh, we're either all right or we're all wrong. We put Atlantic City. What do you think, Randy?
3 for 3. You guys are all right again.
All right.
Having a points out here today. What's going on?
Well, I guess for the Monopoly game in Atlantic City right now is something called the Orange Loop, and it's called that because it's the orange properties on the Monopoly game.
Nice. I
don't know. I own so many copies of Monopoly between, like they have like the various hobby ones, like I feel like if I got that wrong, I would have kicked myself.
I've got one more. Now, I'm not a fan of saltwater taffy, but I know it's like huge in Jersey. So saltwater taffy's origins can be traced back to this New Jersey shore town. Saltwater taffy's origins can be traced back to this New Jersey Shore Town. And I mean, this goes back to about 1883. So, we'll
I can't think of it. I went there.
the origins of saltwater taffy can be traced back to this New Jersey
All
shore
right,
town.
I got it.
All right, let's think. Shore Town.
We need to come up with some cute jingle music here while we wait.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Casey, you're on it again, like the theme song.
Wait, I'll go to the drum set.
I should actually. We haven't gotten to talk about our theme song. I almost said Althea. Casey actually performed. I don't know if you specifically wrote it or if it was your band, but the Planet New Jersey theme song is by NASCAR, Casey's band.
Yes, it's it. Which I don't know if it's a plug, but we are playing May 31st on the boardwalk in Asbury.
Okay. Hopefully this airs before that. No, if you just listen in the beginning, we have an abridged version of the theme song. At the end, you can hear the whole thing. So make sure to stick it out and listen to the whole song. It's awesome. All right, but what do we got? Let's throw up the papers.
I'm lost in, but I know it's wrong, so I just put something down.
I actually wrote, I hate saltwater taffy.
Me too, Vin.
This stuff just makes me barf, but I put Wildwood just as a guess. I don't know.
And it looks like the separating question has been the saltwater one, and Casey will be the winner for the day at Atlantic City.
It's still there, actually. The saltwater taffy factory is still there. It's still operating. It's on the boardwalk.
Oh,
way to separate yourself, Casey. Coming in, finishing strong.
I worked in Atlantic City for 2 years, so
very nice.
Well, listen, I think this episode was lots of fun having Althea Ford with us again. I want to give another big thank you to our official sponsor, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance, also known as NJM, and again, for all your auto, home, and workman's compensation needs. Before we let you go, anyone have anything they want to sign off with? Any last words before we guys let you leave the planet today?
Just thank you, Althea, for coming.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Althea.
Thanks for being here. And I'm a couple days early, but may the 4 be with you.
And also with you.
Also, and guys, for anyone that's on the wedding block or in the near future, please make sure you heed some of that advice. Put your money in the right places, right, and focus on the relationship. Thank you guys for being with us here at Planet New Jersey Day. Casey, we'll do your signature sign off, and we'll check you guys on our next episode. Thank you all.